in the Pledge of Allegiance. Dennis?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I declare the reorganization meeting of 2014 open, and before we get started, I do have a couple comments or business we want to take care of, if we could. First of all, when we gathered since the election in May, we've had one member who was elected to this Central Committee that passed away, Wanda Adams in Trotwood 1A. So I would like just to take a moment of silent reflection and memory of Wanda Adams, if we could. Thank you. I would like to have, we have some candidates that are here that I want to introduce. That I think they're in all the back, I think. First of all, we have Deke Gillis, who's a 5th Senate District candidate. Deke. We have County Commissioner Dan Foley. Dan. We have Susan Sully, who is a candidate for judge. Also in the back, we have Carolyn Rice, who is our county treasurer and also our one of our representatives on the state. We also have another candidate that I know is here is Carl Keith, our county auditor. He's up for election this year. Other elected officials I know that I saw, Judge Mayor Whaley's here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Judge Francis McGee, Common Police Court, on the ballot. Oh, Roland Winburn, our state representative. And let's see. Wayne Smalls, candidate for state representative out of Riverside, Kettering. Dave Richards. Dave is also a candidate. You got here, right? I have one. Right. Mayor Whaley's here. She's not on the ballot this year. Nan Whaley. Also a representative on the State Central Committee. I think that's all of the elected officials that are here right now. The other thing I wanted to let you know before we get started is that many of you may have already heard this. The Ohio Democratic Party, along with others, had filed a suit against the state of Ohio, John Houston, to overturn the rules on the last 3D voting. The court of the Southern District, the Federal Court of Southern District of Ohio, today ruled and reinstituted voting on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday before the election. So the Democratic Party in Ohio is still 100% victorious every time they try to take away voting rights. And it's my understanding, I was told that John Houston has already said he would not appeal the order. So they will not voting on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday before the election. So that's good news. I would like to call up before also to have Joel Wagner from the Ohio Democratic Party to come up, and he's going to talk about Grassroots Academy as well as some other grassroots efforts that hopefully we all can be involved in.
I don't really like microphones, but there's so many of you guys here, I guess I'll give it a shot. So as Mark said, my name's Joel. I'm with the Ohio Democratic Party's coordinated campaign and the deputy field director for this year. This election cycle, we want to build a program that structure fully integrates the coordinated campaign with county parties and candidates all the way down the ticket, and sets up our state for future elections. Because as you guys are totally familiar, there's elections every single year here. So we really want to make sure that we want to ask county party leadership like yourselves, who are willing to fulfill one of the roles within our activist organizational structure. How many neighborhood team leaders do we have in here? Do we have any neighborhood team leaders from 2012? Awesome, awesome. So similarly, neighborhood team leaders manage a team of volunteers in their locality. They assign goals and roles to their team. They communicate with field organizers for assignments, priorities, and directives. We also have phone bank captains. Is anybody in the room a phone bank captain from previous campaigns? Awesome, awesome. So, yep, there we go again. Phone bank captains are responsible for hosting and running phone banks. They help recruit for them, and they report the phone bank results back to the staffer. We also have canvas captains. Anybody a canvas captain in the room? Again, yeah, you did everything, it looks like. I like it. Canvas captains, similarly to phone bank captains, help to recruit and build for canvas events. We also have our data captains, who, if you haven't caught along, help build and help support our data volunteers. Through all these things, for people who are interested in taking on these roles, I'll be sticking around and we can chat. Also in the office, my phone number is pinned and my email address is pinned on the wall there. Any of the wonderful office volunteers can point it out to you. I would be more than happy to work with any of you guys to take on any of these roles. And if you guys want to know more about these roles, you can talk to any of the people who raise their hands in the room. But really, I'm in Ohio this year because for the past 7 months I've been working in Michigan, and I saw what happens to the state when right to work passes, not just union members but to every single progressive issue that we care about. And to me, this election comes down to that one pivotal decision: is do we want right to work to pass in Ohio or not? And by supporting our great statewide candidates like Ed Fitzgerald, all the way down the ticket to people here like Carl Keith and Dan Foley, who are both here in this room today, we can work together to make sure we build a long-standing, sustainable structure to make it easier for us to elect Democrats, not only this year, but moving forward. So thank you for letting me talk for a minute, and I'll turn it back over to Mark. Oh yeah, sorry, yep. This Saturday, Saturday, June 14th, we're having a Grassroots Academy right here in this room. This is our kickoff volunteer training. You'll hear a little bit about our campaign, a little bit more about the organizational structure, and we'll start planning for the summer. It starts at 10 a.m. and at 2 p.m. it will conclude with a meet and greet with our countywide candidates, who will be coming to kind of just introduce themselves to more of the volunteers. I'd love to have you guys all here for that as well.
All right, our first order of business is we have a credential report. Mary Petey, you want to give that report? Second order of business, we actually have to elect a temporary chairperson, and then we'll be electing a temporary secretary. Is there a motion? Is there a Carl Keith?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Mark Owens to serve as temporary chairperson. Second.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
I second that motion.
There's a motion to close the nomination in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I guess we also have to have a vote on now the. Oh, you're my.
Chairman, move for election by acclamation.
All right. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now, we need also a person to be our temporary secretary. Beth King is our outgoing secretary. I think does plan on running for re-election. Is there a nomination for a temporary secretary? Carl Keith?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Beth King.
There's a second by
I'll second.
Bryce Sims. Is there any other nominations?
I vote for nomination.
Okay, Nancy, under the rules, we have to ask 3 times, okay? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the nominations?
So moved. Second.
All right. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to, by acclamation for temporary secretary?
I make.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, our next order of business is our audit committee. Kathy Merkel is going to give the report. Also serving down there was Steve Harson and Carl Keith. Kathy?
accounts, and they are as follows. The political account has $17,403.40. The state candidate committee or fund has $53.05. The building fund has $875.50. The restricted fund has $851.80, and the judicial fund has $191.33. All paperwork is in order, and I present this report to the new Central Committee.
Move for the adoption of the report.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adoption of the report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Kathy. Our next order of business is the adoption of the Constitution and bylaws. I call Russ Joseph to give a report on that committee.
Good evening. The Constitution, besides some just regular language cleanup that went on, well, actually, I do want to recognize those that served on the committee. We had Chairman Owens, Vice Chair and County Auditor Carl Keefe, Paul Bradley, Sam Braun, Nancy Marino, Jen Murphy, and myself. So thank you all for taking the time to serve on this committee. We did some general language cleanup. There was really only one substantial change to the Constitution that we made, and it has to do with making sure we comply with the gender statutes of the Democratic National Committee, as well as the Ohio Democratic Party, the organization that we are actually chartered by through ODP. So we've inserted language in Article 4-1 stating that the vice chairperson of the Central Committee shall be the opposite gender of the chairperson in accordance with the rules set forth in the charter of the Democratic National Committee. So other than that, unless anyone has any questions, that's what we talked about.
Move for the adoption of the Constitution and the amendments. Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Okay, yes, is there any discussion?
Yeah, is there an opportunity to make a motion on that?
You can, yes, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to get a clarification if I can.
Sure.
I don't know, who do I ask? You or the
You can
gentleman?
ask the,
Yeah, okay, it says under Article 7, that reorganization meeting of Central Committee shall be held in accordance with Section 3517.06 of the Ohio Revised Code. Question, does that provision in the Ohio Revised Code require that this occur every 4 years?
No, it's an option. In our charter, or in our Constitution, we do it every 4 years. There are some counties that do it every 2 years.
So there is discretion there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to make a motion there, please. That we amend the Constitution to provide for elections of the Central Committee to correspond with the congressional elections every 2 years.
is there a second?
I second it.
All right. So there's a motion and a second that would require the reorganization to occur every 2 years, not every 4. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a point. How many of you people that are here today saw the New York Times editorial? It was either Monday or Tuesday paper. It was a very scathing editorial of Ohio's election process, aimed, of course, at what you addressed earlier, the Republicans' attempt to contract vote. It's my understanding, in fact, the figure I had was that there were 132 precinct people elected out of 360 precincts, and I thought the figure that was mentioned earlier was 115.
Right.
Is that 115? Okay. 115 elected, right. And I just thought that, having this occur maybe on a 2-year cycle might give an opportunity to expand Democratic participation, which might help with the process of bringing out the vote. I know we were very good when Obama ran, but we haven't been so good in those off-year elections. So that's my comment.
Any other comments? David?
I feel strongly that this organization needs to be representative of the Democrats in the entire county. And I think that we have to do a much better job of recruiting people in every precinct and working our databases and making sure that we have this very good mailing list and everything that we see when the presidential election comes through and they send in all these organizers, they shouldn't have to do that in Montgomery County. This party should be able to have that data ready, should have the organization ready, should have the people in place to get out the vote. And when we have 115 of 360, I don't think we're doing our job very well. So I think, I just saw in Cincinnati, they call them, they don't call them precinct captains, they call them precinct executives. And they had one precinct that had 7 candidates. I mean, the number of people running that, the level of interest in the party is much stronger there, and I think that should be our goal. And I think that because we have such a small representation, at least until we get to over half of the precincts, we should do it every 2 years. If we get over half the precincts elected, then we could maybe go to 4 years as an option. But we need to have more people involved in this central committee. We need to have better representation in the county. We need to have better resources to help get people elected. So I think all of us have a duty and responsibility to get more people involved in the party. And as part of that, I also think that we should always have posted on the website who the precinct captain is for every precinct. This is done in many other counties. It's never been done on our website, and that information helps Democrats know who their neighbor is to get in touch with, to find out how they can get involved. And that's what we need to do. So,
Carl.
Except for Nancy and Dennis, I guess I might be the oldest. Don't agree with that. Just to give you a little bit of history here, you know, this is the way we used to do reorganization meetings several years ago before the law was changed. We reorganized every 2 years because we were required to. The law required us to re-elect central committee men, women every 2 years, and go through this process every 2 years. And so I'm going to say it predates, it probably goes back to when Joe Shutt was chairman. When you were chair, when you were chair. 4 years. So the law was changed, which allowed party organization at the local level to organize either on a 2-year basis or a 4-year basis. And the decision was made at that time by this body to go to the 4-year basis because just to streamline our operations, to be more consistent through the presidential year, that we reorganize during the gubernatorial year, and then we don't have to be bothered with that process during the presidential year. Because what it requires is all of us would have to run again in 2 years if we were to do that. And so for those reasons, I think we want to be consistent and stay the course with that, and it was done for good reasons back when Mr. Lieberman was chair, and I would urge you to vote no on this amendment.
Any other comments?
Yes. I think it's more efficient to do it every 4 years. You don't have to change a new group, train a new group in the year you're running people for president. And the people that are there don't know what's going on because they just got on. I think every 4 years, and start them in a gubernatorial year so you can train them.
David?
there's nothing saying that we have to do it in the gubernatorial years. We could do it every 2 years in the off year.
Well,
Trust
actually
me.
it does. The statute requires it to either be done congressional or gubernatorial.
Cincinnati just had theirs, and
That's this year.
right.
Right, they just had their
Gubernatorial.
reorganization last week.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Yes, ma'am, you had your hand up.
Said that we could, with only 115 representatives from the voting precincts, I feel like that, to me, is, was it 115?
115.
Okay. It's weak. The party is weak. If in 2 years or when we can restructure this for a 2-year deal, then we can all get out and work harder and get representatives from all the voting precincts as representatives for the Central Committee, and I think we need to add power to the Democratic Party.
Dennis?
You know, since it was done when I was chair, I want to give you the rationale because, you know, what you say is true. It'd be great if we had more Central Committee members and more interest in the Democratic Party, but that doesn't necessarily have to come through the election of Central Committee members. we can appoint central committee members throughout the entire 4-year period. We can fill those spots if we can get people interested. I don't think there's a nexus between the time period and interest. If there was, I would agree with you. I think that what we have to do is exactly what you said. We have to do a better job, all of us, of recruiting our neighbors, of recruiting people, of seeing young people who might be interested, get them involved and bring them in. That's been the story since I can remember, since I'm oldest, because I certainly and Nancy's older than I am. So, that's always been the story here. And I think we can do a better job of that. I don't know that changing to 2 through 4 is the answer on that. I think it actually almost detrimental. So that's why we're changing 4, so that we could work on appointing people and just work on campaigns and not have to worry about the interim. For its work.
Good question.
There's been a motion to move the question that has to be addressed before we ask any other questions. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
All right, the motion's on the floor to move the question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right, the ayes have it. We'll go to the amendment. The amendment on the floor is to amend our Constitution. You have the section number. The section number you're referring to, sir? Article 7, 1, is that it?
Well, I asked for clarification on that.
Right. Correct. Okay, so Article 7 that would require us to have a reorganization meeting and elect precinct committee of people every congressional election, which is every 2 years. So if you're in favor of that, you vote yes on the amendment. If you want to retain the 4-year process, you vote no. Just so that there's clarification on the amendment. All right, all in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the amendment fails.
We voted aye both times, so. Which
Pardon
aye?
me?
We voted aye both times, so.
Well, that's generally how, that's how.
No, you
well,
have aye or nay.
If you want to say, David, if you want me to say nay, we'll do nay. I'm a little naysayer, so.
Well, if you want to be exact, you said the ayes have it. Both were ayes. I'm not questioning, but you can't say the ayes have it when the vote was aye against for and nay against.
Well, I guess I'm a non-business person, but the amendment lost. All right, so now we have there was a motion to approve the Constitution as presented by the Constitution Committee. All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, nay. All right. No. All right. Now we have the election of the Central Committee chairperson.
There's no discussion on that?
It passed.
You didn't ask for discussion.
Yeah, we did. We already had discussion. And then they had an amendment.
That's how he got to make his amendment.
You voted on an amendment, then you have to call again. Don't you?
No. Okay, well, I already got a copy of Robert's.
We're going to overrule you, David.
That's fine. Didn't expect any different.
No. Election of Central Committee chairperson. Is there any motions for Central Committee chairperson?
I nominate Mark Holmes. Second.
There's been a nomination and a second. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Move for election of acclimation.
Second.
Well, let me close the nomination. Nominations are closed. Is there a motion to move to, there was a motion earlier by Tom. Was it you that made the nomination?
Yes.
Motion's right.
Acclamation.
There's a second. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
The motion passes, and I thank you for the. I just want to say a few words, and again, thank you very much for your re-election and your support for me for the next 4 years. The last 4 years, we were able to once again carry our county for the president, and I think that has gone back for our county since 1988. I think the last Republican to carry Montgomery County was Ronald Reagan in 1984. So I think I'm proud of it. I know Dennis was proud of the job when he was chair to have, I think 3 times the county carried for the president, Democratic nominee for president. And as a result, Barack Obama was reelected. We were the only county in southwest Ohio that that voted for Ted Strickland in 2010. We have won all of our contested countywide offices over the last two cycles. We defeated Senate Bill 5, and we returned a Democrat to the mayor of the city of Dayton. So thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I want to help us continue to move forward with a progressive agenda. That means helping elect Ed Fitzgerald this year as our next governor, as well as the entire Democratic ticket, our local folks like Dee Gillis and Carl Keith and Dan Foley and Roland Winburn, and our judges, Francis McGee, Susan Sully, and Jeff Froelich, and Wayne Small as a state representative. And I don't think Fred's here, but we're going to re-elect Fred as well. But it also means getting ready, and also, we do also have, and I don't think he's here, I invited him here, but I don't see him, our congressional candidate for the 10th District is Rob Clevenger. And hopefully you'll be seeing more of Rob. He is a teacher here in Montgomery County. He's running a very grassroots campaign for Congress, and we hope we can do whatever we can to help elect him. We also have to be ready for elect a president in 2016 and lay the groundwork. If you watched the elections last night, the Republican Party is crazier and crazier. They knocked out one crazy Congressman, Eric Cantor, who was a leader and a big troublemaker for everything progressive in the United States Congress, and they replaced him with somebody who's even nuttier. And, but that's what we're up against when we have a Republican Party. Even our own, I know Mike Turner likes to pretend that he's some moderate. 100% down the line is what he's with that Tea Party group. So, again, we've got to be ready for this year, 2016, and I look forward to your support in moving this party forward. Thank you very much. Our next order of business is to elect our vice chair. Is there any nominations for vice chair? Tom?
Mr. Chairman, I rise to place in nomination a young lady that's worked very hard for this party over the last 20 years. She's served this party in many capacities. As a central committee, executive committee, screening committee member, she serves on our state executive committee. She's been a delegate to the National Democratic Party. She's worked on every office holder's election in this county for the last 20 years. I'd like to nominate Marcia Knox for vice chair.
Is there a second? Second. There's a second. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? The nominations are closed.
Nomination motion to get elected by acclamation. Second.
There's a motion to elect Marcia Knox by acclamation. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Congratulations, Marcia. Our next order of business is to nominate a secretary, and for your purposes, the secretary and the treasurer by the Constitution you passed will serve as both the secretary for the Central Committee and treasurer for the Central Committee, as well as Executive Committee for both offices. So that essentially that's what you'll be doing. Is there a motion for secretary?
I nominate Beverly King. Second.
There's a motion and a second for Beverly King. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed.
I'll make a motion to be elected by acclamation.
Is there a second? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Signify by saying no. Congratulations, Beverly. And then Beverly. Ankle problem, so I won't make you stand up, but thank you very much. Again, our next office is for that of treasurer. Is there a motion to nominate, is there any nomination for treasurer?
Mr. Chairman, I move to nominate Megan Thomas for treasurer.
Second. Is there a motion and a second?
Second.
All right, Megan, just so people know, could you stand up and wave? All right. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed.
I move for election by acclamation.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion for acclamation on the floor. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Congratulations, Megan. Thank you. Now we are at the portion of the agenda where we break into by wards. And what you'll do, and I think we have a crew of folks who are going to help you pass out some forms. You have an election to be the ward leader. The ward leader, you can also elect a deputy ward leader if you so desire. The ward leader then serves on the executive committee. We've asked you to meet, again, caucus. We've tried to put some, the wards on the against the wall here. I know it starts on the left with Dayton Ward 1, and it works down all the Dayton wards toward the back. I believe then we have Butler and Vandalia along the back as well as all the way down to Harrison. On this side, then we have, I know we have Huber Heights and Clayton and Washington, Centerville, and most of those along there. If you look along the walls, that's where you'll meet. Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes. No, we still have Mr. Our deputy director, Steve Hart. Steve, are you here? He was told by the director of the Board of Elections they eliminated wards in Kettering. That's not true, is it? Right. So at this time, if you will go by wards, have your elections, and then bring the filled out sheets up here, please. I'd appreciate it.